Okay, this is just a concept. This is, we're going to put train rails in that breakdown lane right next to the center of your highways. But the first thing you do is you go ahead and build it on your freeways. You precast everything. You put down a small foundation and you come in with your precast set it and you run your pipes. You can run water, you can run fiber optic pipes, you can run your electric grid in these concrete casings. You can design them any way you want. And then you have your train buried in between these big concrete casings. And they could be anywhere from 3 feet to 8 feet wide, depending on the center section, because you're going to have trains going both ways. You never want a train to go on the same track the opposite direction. The problem with the way they're doing energy in America today and the way they're doing infrastructure is they think backwards. They don't have the right order of construction. When you build a house, you build the foundation first. I'm a pile driver. We do foundations. We see the order in which everything is built in infrastructure. The first thing we'd have to do in this country would be to go ahead and start building nuclear power between cities. Your own green czar, Van Jones, told Mark Spitzer on CNN the numbers don't add up for green energy with solar and wind. Everybody who has studied the numbers and looked at the charts know that's exactly true. Mr. Spitzer tried to shut him up on national TV. Everybody wants to do the con because everybody's invested in the green, and they were dumb in doing so. They're trying to ruin our economy, and they don't care about anybody but themselves. The second thing you do is you go ahead and you figure out which freeways you want to run your trains first. Me personally, I would do my borders and to my ports. You can start work immediately, and all you're doing is leveling the ground, compacting it, running your drainage if it's necessary, and putting in a foundation to come in and set your precast. It's being set up in precast yards all over the country. Thousands and thousands of people can be put to work, and eventually millions. Then you go ahead and you create concrete barriers for your electric grid. This produces manufacturing of pipe. You determine whether you're going to run water. You determine whether you're going to run fiber optics. You determine. What's beautiful about this system is you can run the pipe, but you don't have to run the cables in them yet. You can do that later, and you set precasts across the freeways in place where you do your connections. The beauty of this is your power comes to your city in central locations and isn't spread all over these long distances. You install everything with precast. You have your engineers design it, and you go ahead and the first thing that goes in is the energy grid. The second thing that goes in is your water. Your trains can run on fuel until your electric grid is up and running, but the first thing you're doing is creating electric grid to where you can hook into nuclear power between towns far away from populations, and this train connects everybody. The first thing you do also is you go ahead and run your freight. The big thing about freight would be that the trucks are 4% of what's on the freeways, causes a great deal of accidents and disabilities, and we could get them off the freeways with this system and eliminate 20% of our fuel that's consumed on our freeways. 20% within the first 10 years. This is a 30-year program. The first 10 years is hooking up your interstates with your ports. The second 10 years would be hooking your cities completely through on their freeways. And the third part would be hooking up light rail from your cities to your heavy rail. But what we've got is 88,000 different agencies. We used to be a federal, local, and municipal government. Now we're federal, state, local, municipal, county. You know, they spread it out to 5 different agencies, 5 different municipalities. This is a way to destroy your economy with welfare to work people who have no experience of doing it. They're brainless. You have to vote them out of office, and you have to put somebody in who doesn't want to let our natural resources be robbed by others. This would also bring about electric car usage, because your electric grid would be here, and while you were waiting for your local communities to be hooked up, your electric car could be used right off the electric grid with stations hooked up right there from your freeway. Everybody's got it all backwards, and they don't know how to go. You have to go big, and you have to tell all these white-collar workers that have business administration and sociology degrees, you need to come out and work in the hot sun, pay for that Cadillac plan, and let's build something that produces a profit and a product that will go ahead and increase the value of our natural resources that will be sold around the world with supply and demand. These are all simple ways of going ahead and doing things that, if you do it in the proper order, will be beneficial and make us a competitor in the world. These 20 countries we were buying oil from are no longer selling us oil. They're going to be using it to industrialize themselves and become competitors. So you better get in line and say, well, you're either going to vote for the diminished society where we all have less and use less, or we're going to go ahead and produce less by going to a super train. How long did I do?